Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're uncovering some of the most shocking and insanely valuable Washington quarters ever minted. Some of these coins are worth thousands, and you might have one hiding in your change jar right now, worth more than you could ever imagine. Let's dive in. The 1996p Washington quarter, the $2,000 coin. The world of coin collecting can be full of surprises, and some of those surprises can be worth much more than anyone could expect. Take the 1996p Washington quarter, for instance. At first glance, this coin might seem like a typical quarter, nothing particularly rare or exciting about it. After all, it was only produced around 30 years ago, so it's far from ancient. Yet, this seemingly ordinary coin is one of the most valuable Washington quarters out there, with some individuals willing to pay up to $2,000 for a particular version of it. What makes the 1996p Washington quarter so special? It's all due to a rare minting error that turned this coin into a prized collector's item. In this article, we'll explore the fascinating story behind the 1996p Washington quarter, the error that made it valuable, and how you can identify it if you happen to find one in your change. A surprising find in your pocket change. Imagine this: you're casually going through some loose change you've accumulated over the years. You spot a 1996p Washington quarter and think nothing of it. After all, it's just another quarter from a relatively recent year. But what if, upon closer inspection, you discover that this coin has something special about it, a subtle doubling effect on George Washington's portrait? This doubling is no accident, and it could mean that this seemingly normal quarter is worth thousands of dollars. That's the magic of the 1996p Washington quarter and why collectors are on the lookout for this specific error. Most people wouldn't think to check their change for rare, valuable coins. After all, a quarter is just a quarter, right? But for seasoned collectors or anyone with a bit of knowledge about coins, a seemingly ordinary coin could be worth much more than its face value. The 1996p Washington quarter is a prime example of this, and finding one could be a game changer if you're into coin collecting. The unique error that created a fortune. The 1996p Washington quarter became valuable not because of its age or rarity in production, but because of a rare and unique error that occurred during the minting process. A double die error is the main reason this coin is so sought after. For those unfamiliar with the term, a double die error happens when the die used to strike a coin becomes misaligned during the minting process. Instead of producing a clear and precise impression of the design, the die strikes the coin more than once, creating a noticeable doubling effect on the design. In the case of the 1996p Washington quarter, the doubling is most evident on the obverse side of the coin, particularly around George Washington's portrait. If you examine the coin closely, you'll see that parts of the image, such as his hair, chin, and even the word liberty, appear doubled, creating an effect that is both noticeable and striking. This kind of error is rare, and it's precisely what makes this particular quarter valuable. When the US Mint strikes coins, it uses large, heavy dies to press the design onto the metal planchets. If the die becomes misaligned, either due to wear, mechanical failure, or a mistake during production, it can cause this type of double die error. The result is a coin that is different from the rest, a coin that stands out due to its unique, double-struck design. For collectors, these errors are incredibly valuable because they are so rare and provide a fascinating glimpse into the minting process. When it comes to the 1996p Washington quarter, the double die error is both a mistake and a treasure. Why collectors value it? So, why exactly is the 1996p Washington quarter with a double die obverse so valuable? The simple answer lies in rarity and demand. In the world of coin collecting, rarity is king. The fewer examples of a particular coin error, the more valuable it becomes to collectors. Even though the 1996p Washington quarter was minted in fairly large numbers, only a small percentage of them ended up with the double die error. This makes the error coins incredibly rare, and as a result, highly sought after. It's important to remember that collectors aren't just interested in any coin. They want coins that are unique, interesting, and, most importantly, rare. Coins that contain minting errors provide an opportunity for collectors to own something that's unlike any other coin produced in the same year. And in the case of the 1996p Washington quarter, the error is significant enough that it drives up the demand, making these coins incredibly valuable. Moreover, the 1996p Washington Quarter is a part of the larger Washington Quarter series, which has been a popular series among collectors for many years. The Washington Quarter itself holds historical significance, as it's been in circulation since 1932 and has gone through various design changes over the years. The 1996 version is relatively modern, and the idea of finding an error in such a new coin excites many collectors. After all, it's not every day you come across a coin with a visible minting mistake, especially one that can fetch such a high price. How to identify the 1996p Washington Quarter with the double die error? If you're wondering whether that 1996p Washington Quarter you have is worth a small fortune, there's a simple way to tell. The key feature you'll want to look for is the double die error, which creates a noticeable doubling effect on parts of the coin's design. Here are a few steps you can follow to check if your 1996p Washington Quarter has the double die obverse. Examine the portrait of George Washington. The most obvious place to look for doubling is around George Washington's face. The doubling effect is typically most noticeable in his hair, chin, and cheek area, where the image appears slightly blurred or duplicated. Check the word Liberty on the coin. Another area to look for doubling is the word Liberty above Washington's portrait. The letters may appear doubled or off-center, and this is one of the best ways to spot the error. Look at the date. The year 1996 can also be affected by the doubling, though it may not be as pronounced as the design on Washington's portrait. Still, if you notice any ghosting or shadows around the numbers, it could be an indicator that the coin is a double die error. Condition and quality. As with any collectible, the condition of the coin greatly influences its value. A 1996p Washington Quarter with the double die error that is in mint or near mint condition will be worth significantly more than one that's worn down or damaged. Coins in pristine condition with no visible scratches or blemishes are the ones that attract the highest bids from collectors. Get it professionally graded. If you believe you found a 1996p Washington Quarter with the double die error, consider getting it professionally graded. Grading services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, can help confirm the coin's authenticity and assign a grade that reflects its value in the marketplace. The impact of a small mistake. It's truly fascinating how a small mistake in the minting process can turn an otherwise ordinary coin into a highly valuable collector's item. Errors like the double die obverse are not something the US Mint plans for, and they don't happen very often. In fact, most coins are produced with extremely high precision, and the likelihood of an error slipping through the cracks is relatively low. This is what makes error coins, such as the 1996p Washington Quarter with the double die obverse, so special. The impact of a small error in the minting process can be huge, both for the value of the coin and for collectors who are lucky enough to find one. While it might seem like a random mistake, it's a perfect example of how the world of coin collecting works. Sometimes, the rarest and most valuable items are born from the most unexpected circumstances. A double die error that was likely unnoticed during the minting process has now become one of the most prized Washington Quarters in modern coin collecting. A coin worth checking for. In the end, the 1996p Washington Quarter with the double die obverse serves as a reminder that coin collecting isn't just about finding old, rare coins, it's about finding coins that are unique and tell a story. For many collectors, discovering an error coin like this one is an exciting and rewarding experience. The fact that a 1996p Washington Quarter could end up being worth thousands of dollars demonstrates just how much value can be found in unexpected places. So, if you happen to find a 1996p Washington Quarter in your spare change, take a moment to inspect it carefully. You never know, what seems like a regular, run-of-the-mill coin could be a hidden gem worth much more than its face value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who enjoys looking for rare coins, the 1996p Washington Quarter is a perfect example of how coin collecting can be full of surprises. 1968 No Mint Mark Washington Quarter, worth $3,750. The 1968 Washington Quarter with no mint mark is one of the most sought-after and valuable coins in U.S. numismatic history. While it may appear to be an ordinary coin at first glance, this particular quarter has become a rare treasure worth up to $3,750, depending on its condition. In this article, we'll take a closer look at why this 1968 Washington Quarter is so valuable, the story behind the error, and how you can identify one if you have it in your collection. Understanding the mint mark and its importance. To understand why the 1968 no mint mark Washington quarter is so valuable, we first need to explore the concept of mint marks. Mint marks are small symbols placed on coins to indicate where they were produced. Coins from the Philadelphia Mint do not typically have a mint mark, while those from the Denver Mint are marked with a D, and those from the San Francisco Mint feature an S. The mint mark system helps collectors trace the origin of a coin and is crucial in determining its rarity and value. In 1968, most of the Washington quarters produced were either struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, with the Philadelphia Mint typically producing quarters without a mint mark. However, a mix-up occurred during the minting process, and a small batch of Washington quarters from that year was accidentally struck without any mint mark, making them an extremely rare find. The minting error. The 1968 Washington quarter was intended to have a mint mark to indicate its place of origin. Quarters from the Philadelphia Mint typically don't have a mint mark, while those from the Denver Mint bear a D, and quarters from the San Francisco Mint are marked with an S. However, due to an error in the minting process, a small batch of 1968 quarters was struck without any mint mark, causing them to stand out from the rest. This minting error created a unique variety that would later become highly sought after by collectors. At first, the error went unnoticed, but over time, collectors began to realize that there were quarters from 1968 that lacked a mint mark entirely. As word spread about the rarity of these coins, their value began to rise. Today, a 1968 no mint mark Washington quarter in good condition can fetch up to $3,750, depending on its grade. Rarity and value. Rarity is the driving factor behind the value of coins, and the 1968 no mint mark Washington quarter is rare indeed. While thousands of 1968 quarters were produced, only a small number of them were struck without a mint mark, making these coins highly coveted among collectors. As the years have passed, the demand for this era coin has only increased, and its value has soared. In the world of numismatics, rarity often leads to higher prices. The more difficult it is to find a coin, the more valuable it becomes. This is certainly the case with the 1968 no mint mark Washington quarter. The era coin scarcity, combined with its historical significance, makes it one of the most valuable modern U.S. coins. The value of a 1968 no mint mark Washington quarter can vary depending on several factors, with the primary determinant being the coin's condition. Coins that are well preserved, with sharp details and minimal signs of wear, command the highest prices. A quarter that is in mint condition could be worth as much as $3,750, while one in lower condition may be worth significantly less. Coin grading and condition. Coin grading is a critical factor in determining the value of any coin, and the 1968 no mint mark Washington quarter is no exception. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a perfect coin. The better the condition of the coin, the higher the grade it will receive, and the more valuable it will be. If you have a 1968 no mint mark Washington quarter, it's important to have it professionally graded to determine its true value. A professional grading service, such as the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, can assess the coin's condition and assign it a grade. The higher the grade, the more the coin is worth. Coins in excellent condition, with no scratches, tarnish, or significant wear, are worth significantly more than those that show signs of damage. For example, a 1968 no mint mark Washington quarter in uncirculated condition might sell for up to $3,750, while one with noticeable wear may only fetch a few $100s. Therefore, coin grading plays a key role in determining how much you can sell your coin for. How to spot the 1968 no mint mark quarter. If you think you may have a 1968 Washington quarter with no mint mark, you'll want to take a close look at it. The first thing to check is the reverse side of the coin. Normally, you would expect to see a mint mark, either D or S, just below the eagle. However, in the case of the 1968 no mint mark quarter, there will be no mint mark at all. Once you've confirmed that the coin is indeed missing the mint mark, the next step is to evaluate its condition. Check for any visible wear or damage, such as scratches, discoloration, or faded details. The better the condition of the coin, the more valuable it will be. If your 1968 quarter appears to be in good shape, it may be worth getting it graded by a professional to determine its true market value. Why is the 1968 no mint mark quarter valuable? The 1968 no mint mark Washington quarter's value stems from a combination of factors. First and foremost, the coin is rare. Only a small number of these coins were struck without a mint mark, making them difficult to find. Coin collectors place a premium on rarity, and because this coin is so rare, it commands a high price. Secondly, the 1968 no mint mark Washington quarter has become a part of U.S. coinage history. The minting error that led to the production of these quarters was not intentional, yet it has made the coin one of the most fascinating and valuable error coins in the U.S. mint's history. The story behind this coin adds to its allure, as collectors enjoy owning pieces of history with such unique and interesting origins. Lastly, the demand for this coin has only grown over time. As more and more collectors become aware of the 1968 no mint mark Washington quarter, the prices continue to rise. The scarcity of the coin and the growing interest among collectors ensures that this quarter will remain valuable for years to come. The legacy of the 1968 no mint mark Washington quarter. In conclusion, the 1968 no mint mark Washington quarter is more than just a rare error coin, it's a piece of U.S. history. Its production was unintentional, but it has become one of the most sought-after coins in the world. With its rarity, historical significance, and value, the 1968 no mint mark quarter has earned its place as a prized collectible. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or a newcomer to the hobby, this is one coin you'll definitely want to keep an eye out for. How coin errors impact value. So, what exactly makes these coins worth so much? The answer lies in the concept of coin errors. A coin error occurs when something goes wrong during the minting process. It could be anything from a misalignment of the die, to an improper strike, to a coin that's missing a mint mark altogether. These errors make a coin unique, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for a coin that's different from the typical batch produced. With modern coins like the 1996p Washington quarter and the 1968 no mint mark quarter, errors are relatively rare, and the more unusual the error, the more valuable the coin becomes. This is why even a small mistake during the minting process can turn a coin that would otherwise be worth face value into a prized collectible. Conclusion. To wrap things up, Washington quarters are far more than just a common coin, they're a window into the history of American currency, and some of them are worth serious money. From the 1996p Washington quarter with its unique double die error to the rare 1968 no mint mark quarter, these coins prove that sometimes the smallest mistakes can lead to the most valuable finds.